There's been a lot of new Helix Stadium content coming out, and I've watched it so that you don't have to. I gotta say that the Stadium XL is true to its name. It is quite large. I'm pretty sure these guys are maybe 6 feet and above. So the XL, even though it's touted to be smaller than the original Helix, it does still look quite significantly larger.
Pipes off. Nice little thing. If you any parameter, if you touch it, you get a slider. So here's the hype at maybe 3.5. You're hearing things, but it's a little subtle. Now, I'll actually rotate the knob this time. We'll take the hype up to about a little over.
I want to see what the signal chain is for that preset because it sounds good, really good. Maybe too much reverb for my liking for a demo. That's a really simple preset, and it sounded quite complex. And what I'm really excited by with this new Agora modeling is that you don't have to do extra things to make it sound good. On Helix, we had to apply compression, apply post-compression, apply EQ, just to get the bass amp tone to be decent. And now it seems like you just plug and play. There's not even a compressor here, so all that compression we're hearing is the natural compression of the amp. One more thing, I've had the most experience with Marshall tube amps live, and so I'm very impressed with how the Agora modeled Marshall is sounding. Where that Marshall brightness is really coming through without sounding brittle, that's great. that's true to the original.
Wow.
I'm gonna be honest, when I'm hearing it through my monitor speakers, I can't really hear what's going on between hype max and hype off, which goes to show that I think it's more of a feel feature than it is an audible feature, even though they've stated that there is additional things behind the scenes, like the sag is changing, the gain control is changing, or the gain reactivity is changing. It's the difference between the idealized amp versus an amp in the studio. It's one of those things that we'll experience when the unit is available for us to play.
Same thing here. Simple slap.
Oh, look at that.
It's changing all the parameters here at the bottom that you just noticed.
Oh.
So it goes on forever. Rhythmic tool.
Nice.
Focus view is turning out to be one of those things that I think will really simplify the patch creation process. Because instead of having multiple delay blocks, multiple effect blocks, we essentially have one effect block that can morph into different sounds and effects. You just need to drag from one corner to the next to shift between different sounds. It's an XY movement in 2 dimensions, so I'm not sure what happens with the expression control. I really hope I'm able to move between 2 spots on the focus view with the expression control, or being able to assign 2 states of the XY positions on focus view just with 1 foot switch. That to me will be a game changer, and I hope Line 6 will implement it like that.
Yeah. Cleans up pretty well when you get.
We're worship players, so we love our AC30s. This is the Agora AC30. I love the fact that we can change the channel on the amp. On the Helix, these are 2 separate amp models, but on Agora, they're one and the same, which presents some great opportunities to, again, simplify the patch creation process. I can easily see having one of these amp models loaded on, and then having a button to change between the top boost channels, or to embrace the newfound utility of the focus view. I hope I can change both the channels and the parameters using the XY axis on focus view. That will be an amazing thing to do. And just a note on the sonic quality. The natural distortion on an AC30 is such that you've got an amplifier that's distorting with all these harmonics, but you still have good string separation. This is very hard to replicate in the modern world, and the cheap AC30 models that we have on our less expensive units, they don't do this. They don't distort like this at all. I think it's pretty exciting, but this is not the kind of sound that I think most PNW people want from the AC30.
Did the view here, has named all of Princess Peach, Princess Leia, Princess Diana, Jasmine. So all the different sounds from the
Princess Cruises.
I think what we're going to experience on Helix Stadium units as we try to build our dual amp presets with your AC30 on one end and a Fender amp like maybe the Princeton on the other is that the sonic separation is going to become too much. The AC30 is going to crunch up a lot faster than the Fender is, and so you're going to have your left ear having a lot more distortion than the right ear. My suspicion is that the more we have highly detailed modeling solutions from Line 6 or take any brand, the closer they are to the real thing, the less likely we are to use stereo amps because it's just going to be too difficult to manage the how ultra high definition sonics between the two amps. But we shall see. Maybe the tone tweakers out there who provide presets, myself included, we're gonna have our work cut out for us to provide presets that are cohesive to the sound in both ears.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that getting gross enough for you?
It's terrible. I love it. No.
I like watching this demo because Mark Letary is clearly having fun. And I think that is going to be the takeaway from this video. Does it make you want to play more? Are you having fun with it? Are you fighting with the interface to get sounds out of it? Any gear that you buy, if you have to fight with it to get sound out of it, that's going to take you out of that creative moment. That's going to make you feel less inclined to play. And so I applaud Line 6 for really focusing on the UI UX features of their products. It looks great, it sounds great, and so I think Stadium does have the ingredients for a really successful product. Let's change gears. I want to watch the Enderton's Guitar Summit video that was released yesterday as of the time of this recording.
I am at Guitar Summit in Mannheim in a secret booth.
All right, so this is where I think camera angles is really important and the gear you use to record this stuff. Look at how small the unit looks like compared to the two of them. I'm going to play a little bit more just to see if the camera angle confirms my suspicions that this is an ultra wide angle lens.
So I'm excited. And Paul Hindmarsh is with us as well. And lovely Paul is going to do some playing.
Yes, this is an ultra wide angle lens. The people in front are going to look enormous compared to the people behind. Now that is a quirk of super wide angle lens. Technical, I know, but it's important because once you've moved away from the center, it looks more normal size now with Lee Enderton sort of away from the center of the lens. It's a night and day difference. This, just 5 seconds prior, it looks like the Stomp XL is a Pod Go size device, whereas this is now a more normal perspective. Hence the importance of watching multiple videos of the same product. You never know if the camera gear is going to make something look bigger or smaller than it actually is.
I'm going to just press a button because I saw you do it. Where did it get me the nice screen? Where did that
focus.
come from?
There you
Right.
go. Yep.
I love all this. I'm just a massive sucker for just seeing basically what I would traditionally have had in an amp or on the floor.
And the signal flow view is boring and engineer brain like it's not cool to look at.
I'm going to be nitpicky in this video and say that this is not the first time a modeler has showed the physical representation of the device. I believe the Fender Toolmaster Pro was the one that really showed, like, if it had a pedal, it showed a pedal. If it had an amp, it showed the amp, which is what made the Toolmaster Pro something like the Boomer's modeler. Because having the UI and the graphics look like this really helps people who are used to analog world bridge that gap to jump into something like this.
Behind the scenes, it's obviously just adjusting. In fact, that Helix did that. But
It doesn't actually.
okay, what did I see that did that then?
StageScape M20D, our digital mixer, did that.
That's
Yep.
right.
So this is taken from, it didn't have a pretty picture and we had just an orange
Yes.
box there. It's like, well, that's boring. Let's at least put a cool 3D image or something
I
like
remember
that in it.
that's
Yeah.
your God. I am. Wow. That's one of those obviously little memory clips that's stored. I knew I'd seen it on a Line 6 product before, but you're right. It's on the digital mixer. That was a long time ago,
Because
wasn't
we
it?
were designing Helix around the same time as M20D was coming out, and we
Right.
had a touchscreen on the original design, and it had this functionality. At the last second, they pulled the touchscreen and said, don't worry, Eric, you'll get your touchscreen in 3 years. And now 10 years later,
Hang on a sec, let's check something out. I remember that. I remember the StageScape, the Line 6 StageScape M20D. April 2012. Okay, April 2012. Let's check that date. April 2012. It launched in April 2012. Blah, 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 blah. When did Quad Cortex come out? Announced 2020, and the device was available 2020. Okay, let's say 2020. 2020 Quad Cortex came out. This came out in 2012. Do you know what this means? Line 6 could have been the UI UX leader in the guitar modeling market. When people think of Quad Cortex, they think of the touchscreen, being able to interact with the device with a touchscreen. That's what the Quad Cortex is known for, which came out 8 years later than the StageScape M20D, which tells us a bit about product life cycles and engineering. The products are engineered to do things way in advance. And Line 6, you could have been the one to lead the charge in the touchscreen revolution. Yes, it's slightly gimmicky. I much prefer using the tactility of knobs and faders and switches. But when Quad Cortex came out with the tech and being able to interact with a touchscreen, they won the touchscreen race. And now everyone knows them as the device with touchscreen. But I do understand where they're coming from. And 13 years ago, if they had put a touchscreen on the Helix, that would have made the device a lot more expensive at launch.
Old Helix didn't do profiling.
Correct.
So what?
Because Christoph's one of our friends. We didn't want to step on his toes.
So what's the approach to that functionality in Stadium XL?
So it's not out yet. We call it proxy, and we even have a little sheep icon because of Dolly the sheep, and also because we're all sheep following in the footsteps of Kemper, right?
So proxy is your name for cloning or profiling.
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, and it's our bespoke solution. We have a couple ways that we're approaching it. We haven't really nailed down exactly which one we want to do.
Is that one of the features that will be available? Proxy will be available from launch, or
No,
is that,
no,
right,
that's
so
next year. So,
right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that products are not 100%, or at least the features are not 100% available on launch. Because we've seen how this has played out in various different devices, the most nefarious being Neural DSP. Neural DSP is now notorious for promising something at launch and then having to wait literal years before the features become implemented. And even then, they do it so incrementally and piecewise, it's still not fully implemented. I'll give you a quick example. I bought a Quad Cortex, but this is not my first Neural DSP product. I was sponsored and gifted an Archetype Petrucci plugin, which I still use to this day. It's the fastest way to get those metal tones and the Dream Theater sound. Plugin compatibility was promised at launch. Plugin components like the amps, the cabs, the delays, whatever, they will be able to appear as blocks that you can load onto the Quad Cortex. It's happened for some of the plugins, but not all of it, including the Archetype Petrucci. So I'm still waiting for the day I can load in my Archetype Petrucci from the plugin into the Quad Cortex. If there's anything that Line 6 can listen to, it's this. Please fulfill your promise. If you have promised that updates will come in a timely and orderly fashion, please fulfill that promise. Because we as guitar players have been burnt by the promises of frequent updates and support, but those promises get broken or they just don't fulfill them at all. But to their credit, they've shown a good track record with the current lineup of Helix and Pod Go. I personally want Showcase because I'm a music director, I'm a production manager on stage. These things will really help me out to simplify the process. Let's go on and hear some sounds.
That's a really good AC. Other models I've heard of AC, it always feels like the patches are trying too hard to really push that kind of mid-range slightly.
Yeah.
And it ends up making the preset sound much more boxy than the amp is in real life.
Just like Mark Lettieri before, the string separation on the overdriven sounds of this AC30 is quite incredible. Just based on memory, playing an AC30 live before, this is what it really is supposed to feel like with an AC30 in the room. Distorted, saturated, but nicely separated between the strings, which again, I think it's not something that most P&W players want. I foresee that is going to be one of those characteristics that's going to be very weird in the ear to have if you have one side AC30, one side Fender. So what I'm suspecting is that people are going to have mono blended amps. You're not going to have purely hard pan left, right amps like we used to in the Helix. We're going to have the amps blended in the middle, and that will provide the best characteristics of the AC30 and the Fender amps. Before the popularity of Helix patches, it was very rare to have like amps hard pan left and right because we just couldn't control the separation of the amplifiers that well. And now, who knows, maybe the Agora amp sounds so good that you just don't need stereo amp setups anymore. I'm going to close out by letting Paul Hindramage describe to you what this new technology should be doing to you.
So Agora for me, I mean, you really have to play it yourself. That where it starts to feel, you can start to tell that how you pick a note, it all makes a massive, massive difference. Which pickup you're on, it's bigger and better than we've had before. Everything feels more three-dimensional. Makes you probably play a little bit differently.
The new technology is supposed to help us express ourselves closer to our creative vision in our heads. Technology should be helping us remove the roadblocks between what we are thinking in our heads and what we want to express on our guitars. And that's been me. What about you? How do you feel about Agora modeling now that you're hearing a lot more detailed examples and playing examples? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you in this next video popping up after this.